Hello, everybody. Welcome back to the Ecstatic Business Show. I am so excited to feature my newest friend and mentor of sorts. She's working with me in my PhD program as one of my advisors, Dr. Lisha Antiqua. Lisha Antiqua. I practiced that. I have the last name that's unpronounceable, so I should get better at this. But so excited to chat today. Dr. Lisha is an amazing, wonderful human who has specialized in trauma therapy and healing. She's authored 5 books. She's come up with 2 therapeutic methods to help survivors of abuse reclaim their confidence and heal their intimacy. She has some amazing systems and frameworks that are trauma informed and helping people to come to a deeper understanding of their true self and connecting with the divine and their purpose. Today, we're going to be talking about your relationship to your success in your business. How can you love yourself, since today is Valentine's Day? How can you love yourself in the work that you're doing, through the work that you're doing? And so we're going to kind of get this kicked off. Anything you want to say to just get us started, and then we'll dive into your story.
So happy Valentine's Day, everybody. Feel the love inside of yourself. Love yourself today. Some of us have Valentines. Some of us will get Valentines. Some of us will be our own Valentines. And
I wore my special heart shirt today.
Yes. Yes. So just know that this segment's going to be all about love and the love of your business and the love of who you are and loving yourself.
I love that so much. So yeah, just taking a moment to allow love to fill your heart and shine into the world. Feels so good. And Dr. Lisha, I know that you have had a very dramatic series of events from your childhood on. There is a reason that you decided to study trauma. And I think today what we're going to focus on is the part of your story where everything hit the fan and you were wondering if it was worth continuing. So I'd love for you to just share your sacred success story of that time when things got really hard and you made it through. So please.
Yeah. So it was 2018, so not too long ago. And Alaska, I live in Alaska. Alaska had an earthquake, a really big earthquake. And my house is on the fault line. So luckily, most things in my house were okay, but my appliances started breaking one by one by one. I had also just gone through a pretty significant, well thought out, it was okay breakup, and it had been 6 months, but I had gone through a breakup. And for years, I was struggling in business. I was finishing my PhD, which was on the Yoga Sutras in the Bible. So it was deep in spiritual warfare, basically, I think, on a spiritual note too. And I had just finished my thesis, and I didn't know what to do or where I was going. Your own university, my school, had a coaching certification program, a yoga certification program in it. And I've been really working to build this. I also had been coaching and doing counseling for years prior to that, and working with survivors of abuse. And I had programs. I had written my programs, and one of them had even won awards, but it hadn't taken off. I wasn't able to pay my bills. I wasn't able to do anything. And I really felt like God was punishing me. I had done something wrong and everything was breaking, and I didn't know where we were going to eat that week. And so I decided to take my own life, because at that moment, that was just a really brave, logical thing to do, I thought, that particular day or week. And I wrote letters. I told everybody goodbye. I had a friend come over and stay with me. He caught me, followed me home and caught me prepping, and he stayed with me. I had friends tell me to, write everything. And I'm in personal development. I'm in self-help. So I wrote, my friend was like, write 100 things that you love about yourself. And I was like, no problem. Like I was like, boom, 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 boom. Totally not egotistical either. Like I love my ability to right my wrongs. I love my ability to look at what's not working in my life and correct it. I love my ability to be there for my friends even after they've hurt me. I love my ability to, right? Like they weren't like, I'm the best. They're like, this is it. And it was like, and then she's like, great, write 100 things that people love about you. And I could think of 7 things that I could say, people like this about me. And that's kind of that was it. And I had to admit at that point that people, and not their opinions, but relationship mattered. And I'm an only child. And I felt like there was no relationship. And I didn't know how to create that relationship where I mattered. I knew that people mattered to me, but I didn't know if I mattered to people or what that would even look like. I hadn't mattered to my mom. I hadn't mattered to my dad. I hadn't mattered to my stepdad. Like I hadn't mattered growing up. I didn't matter to my ex-husband. I hadn't mattered to any boyfriends. I'll cry here. Like I literally at that time couldn't think of how I mattered. And so that was my breaking point as you own your own university, all about, and a club called You Matter.
Love
right?
that. Yes.
Like that was my breaking point. So my identity was proving that I mattered, was creating something to matter. And I was failing miserably at it. I was failing miserably. I couldn't pay people to come and buy the programs or work with me. And I definitely wasn't getting paid to do it. And so I got in the car, I did my thing, and what should have taken 15 minutes, 2 hours later at 4:44, I was still sitting there. And I got a phone call, and my friend was like, just get out, right? And I'm worried about your animals inside the house now, right? It's been too long. And so I did, and I gave up, and I went to a party, still smelling like everything. Went to a party, and somebody had been plowing outside and got CO2 poisoning. Like in the truck with the thing down, just got out of the hospital at this party with CO2 poisoning. And I'm like sitting there going, I even failed at that. And
I'm such a failure. I can't even kill myself successfully.
Yeah. And so, but the funny thing is my mom, when I told her, she was like, don't fuck it up this time. Right. I have the MFTHR gene and a history of molestation and stuff. So this was something I had tried before. 13 was my first attempt. And it wasn't over and over. And like, I haven't done anything like drastic, like cut myself or shoot myself or anything. But my mom literally was like, just don't fuck it up this time. Just quit fucking up. Right. Do it right. And I didn't. And there wasn't a big epiphany. Jesus didn't appear beside me. Like no angels. Like there was nothing was there. The only thing that happened in that experience is I was praying the Ho'oponopono prayer the entire time. And like I had my wish thing. I had my I mean, it was a really spiritual experience. Like I was really peaceful. Like I had done all I can to the best of my ability to help humanity, and it didn't work. But I got out of the car and I said, just use me. And pretty much immediately I went to a sweat a week later, and I was offered a job as a counselor. And I began working, and I did my work. And as I did that, right when COVID hit, it was basically like, so a couple years, I did that, and then COVID hit, and I all of a sudden had enough clients. I haven't looked back. Like I've been making money and successful, and things have been turning, and things have been working, and 6 figures and beyond, and things like it just happened. But what happened in that moment, that baseline moment, is I gave up my identity with the success of my business or how other people saw me being my worth. And I also gave up how I saw me being my worth.
Ooh, say more about that.
Well, I had done a lot of self-help. I'd done years of self-help and spiritual inquiry in myself and personal development and school. And like, I'm certified in probably everything that you can be certified. And I've studied probably I've studied under all the grades and that we'd consider the grades. And I literally had done all I could to be like this good person, right? To be loved,
Yeah. To earn love.
And so what happened for me in that moment was like a shift of love. I don't even know how to explain it other than like, it was a sensation within me that actually we were talking about walking everybody through today. Right.
Yeah.
So there was a sensation within me, and that was like, I don't have to prove that I'm lovable anymore. I don't have to get my PhD. I don't have to make a certain amount of money. I don't have to be a certain weight, which we're still working on giving up completely, because I'm proving to myself the heaviness is okay right now. There's, I don't have to meet anybody else's expectations, which for me had been my entire life. Right? Meet my expectation, prove to me that you're good, get a good grade, get an A, get a B, don't get a C, right? Like, there was all of this expectation to qualify for love. And then I had that expectation on myself. So we can go into the content and talk about that expectation, because this is really what I want everybody listening to come out of this love note to self day and take into your business. Because when I took this into my business, I can now go, you know what, like, the right clients are going to show up for me in my personal practice, right? The right students that go through the certification program are going to be there because they have a mission to help people, right? The people I partner with, like you, Caitlin, are like, they're going to show up. There's a divine intervention that I can surrender and don't have to push and prove.
Yeah.
And I think that was the freedom of that day, and not identifying as, if nobody gets my programs, if nobody reads my books, if nobody does that, it's okay. I'm not going to be a failure at living, right? I can do something else. I can go out and have another job. And that's what I did at that point. I quit pushing your own university or my private practice, and I just went out and got a job. And it was free. It was great. I had a 9 to 5. I had a paycheck every 2 weeks. It was like, wow, right? And
refreshing, actually.
It was super refreshing until it wasn't. and then now this is really refreshing, right? Yeah. But I'm not in struggle anymore. And I don't think that we need to struggle for any one thing, including ourselves.
Yeah. I think that's really beautiful. It's like recognizing that as entrepreneurs, there are cycles where I'm actively growing my company and cycles where I'm going and getting a day job, right? Like, and I remember the first time, like, the business crashed and burned, and I was like, called up one of the former clients and was like, do you just need a closer? Because honestly, just getting on the phone and closing deals sounds like a vacation right now compared to the work I've been doing. And so sometimes we underestimate how going back to work and being an employee can be a reprieve. It can be a season of rest and rejuvenation to get your creativity rebuilt, to get your savings restocked, like, to take care of yourself. And then when you feel ready, when that creativity starts bubbling up, when that restless spirit adventurer wants to adventure again, then we can shift and go back into pursuing our passions. Each time it's a learning cycle. So I think a lot of people think, well, that's just regressing. And we're like, no, you might be going in a circle, but it's a spiral staircase, right? If you look at
Spiral.
a spiral
Yeah.
staircase from above, it looks like the person is walking in circles. But if you look at it from the side, you realize that they're ascending continuously. So
Yeah.
even if it feels like you're walking in circles, don't worry. You are growing and learning and becoming the next evolution of yourself with every single step, even if it feels like there's this cyclical pattern in your life. And that's totally normal, right? Like we look at nature. Nature has winter. It has ebbs, right? Nature has both the flow and the ebb, the spring and the winter. Yes.
Right. We have it here. This is life.
Yeah.
This is life. Yeah.
It's beautiful. I love that. So even just in your sharing of your story, the first thing that came to mind is like, oh, for this Valentine's Day, I want to write myself a love letter. Like, I think that needs to be my homework today, is write a love letter about all the things that I love about myself, that other people love about me, and really refill that personal cup before expecting other people to pour into my cup. Because I feel like that's always been my frustration with this holiday, is there's so much expectation, and expectation just kills delight. Like it's really hard to find pleasure.
And then if you don't get it, or you don't get it that way that you wanted it, right? Then it's like, oh, they don't love me like I do, and they're not there for me, and they don't like, there's all this stuff, or I did it wrong, or I'm bad. Right. And
I'm not good enough to be
I'm not good enough.
Time. Yeah.
Yeah.
Exactly. So what are some things that we want people to focus on in terms of self-love with their business, with their success? How can we shift this relationship for them?
Awesome. I can't wait. So I'm an identity therapist. And in trauma therapy, what I've learned is, for the most part, for childhood trauma and relationship trauma, it's rehealing your identity. It's healing that love. And it's not, oh, I love myself that I want to go into so much today, or I love this about a person so much today, or here's where I qualify and here's where I don't qualify. What I want to invite you to do is write a love letter to yourself. So you can pull out a journal right now, or go and grab one, and begin to write down. There's 6 different power zones. There's 6 different places in your life that you actually have power. And this is my information. It came through me quite organically, but then I found out it is just universal law. It's been around for an eternity. It is how they've built acupuncture. It is how they built the 7 rings of spiritual awakening. It's just how we're built. It is the spiral. Okay. And so how you were built is, you have a 1D body, which you have, this is mineral, right? We have a mineral base, and this is your body to take care of. And your body has to do with your physical body, but also like all of the stuff in you. I'm gonna use her. Okay, so oftentimes we think that our body is ourselves, but our body is actually the weakest link. Right? It's the 1D. It is the single. It's going to go back to dust and be dust. And so within, I want you to know, like, how you love your body. How do you take care of your body? What do you like about your body today? So when we're talking about love, how do you identify as your body? And what do you like about it? And how do you want to take care of it? Right? If it wasn't wrong, if it wasn't bad, if it wasn't not doing what you told it to, like, what is it doing? Right? Just like you would look at a really good program in your business, right? What is it doing? Next is your mind. How does your mind work for you? Hey, we think our mind's really, really powerful when it comes to manifestation, because we can work really hard, right? And then it's all mindset. And then we do our mindset work, and it's like, oh, now everything's working. But how does your mind work? How is your mind unique to you? Right? How does your mind matter to you? What's working with your mind? What stories does your mind tell you that you like? Like, where have you conquered your mind and your mindset in your business, and like really believe in yourself, and how is it working for you? And that's all good and great. And so many things, especially from the 1800s, believe that like the mind is the trick, right? Think and Grow Rich. Right. Mastery of the mind, the science of the mind, right? There's so much stuff around the mind that this is it. But you know what? About 1970, they said that's not it. Like the mind is only just like a little piece of it. And we have this entire system called your emotions. And it is not your nervous system. It's not your autonomic nervous system, which is here, right? And it's not, it works through your brain, because your brain is here, your brain is your heart, your brain is your guts, but it's actually your connective tissue. So that's how the body holds emotion. That's why when you feel something, it rushes through you, right? So how do you manage your emotions? How does what emotions matter to you, right? So I know failure. Okay. I'm also learning this year, I know self-pity really well. Self-pity has saved my ass so many times. Getting people to feel sorry for me, feeling sorry for myself. Now, it has held me back. It's a very low vibrational emotion, but it has saved me.
But as a survival
instinct, it's a survival instinct. It's super helpful. So what are the emotions that you have on the regular that are maybe a lower frequency that you make yourself wrong for them? What if today you love them a little bit? How are they working for you? Right. And then let's also look at, like, how do you know joy? How do you know happiness? How do you know elation? How do you know oneness? Right. We have so many fantastic emotions. Which emotions are hard for you to feel? Right. So many of my clients, they come to me and they said, I just want to be happy. I just want to be happy, Lisha. Dr. Lisha, just get me happy. That's what I want. I'm like, awesome. What's happy? Where do you feel it in your body? I don't know. What makes you happy? I don't know. Right. Okay. Well, let's start there. So what emotions do you want to feel that you're not feeling yet? That you want to explore? So an emotion that I want to explore is prosperity. I know it's an emotion. People say, like, to be prosperous, you feel free, you feel elated, you feel this, you feel that, right? So I'm posting pictures all over my Facebook pages of these elegant places. They happen to all be in Greece. I think I need to go to Greece or Athens or someplace like that, because they're all there. That's where the water is that I want to be in. But I keep seeing these pictures and I'm just like, yes, that gives me this feeling of prosperity. This gives me a freedom, of elegance, of grace. That's how I'm now coming to this, and I'm cultivating this new feeling inside of me, because my nervous system, okay, my nervous system regulates with my emotions through not enough. Through, you wish you could go there, but it's not quite there. And it has been my drive. It's gotten me my PhD. It's gotten me places. It's put together my business. It's worked for me, right? But I want to do things easier this year. I want to trust the flow. I want to have more fun. I want to go places. I want to learn how to really just relax and be and enjoy. And that means I get to expand my capacity to feel those higher vibrations and frequencies that move a little faster. Here's the thing that I've learned about emotions, and I love emotional intelligence, because it heals you a lot faster than your thoughts, which is going to heal you a lot faster than your actions or surgery. Your emotions are quick. So as they raise up, the lower vibrations feel like rocks, right? And then we get into sludge and mud, and then we get up into, fear, and it gets a little faster. Then we get into anxiety, which is a great emotion that a lot of people feel, that is pretty fast. Right above anxiety is anger. Right above anger is desire. And then we start getting into what we equate as like good emotions, right? So probably everybody knows this, but that's how it works. But they move faster and faster and faster and faster. So if you don't know how to manage fast speed within your body, fast energy within your body, then this is an issue. So how, when you write your love letter to yourself, go like, how fast can I make energy move? And this goes in your business too. How fast can you make things happen in your business with effortlessness, without the pressure, without the push? Just a fun little game to play with. But this isn't really it, right? This isn't our last tool here that we have, because to love You need to love your body. You get to be in love with your thoughts. You get to be in love with your emotions and guiding your emotions, your GPS system. But this is your etheric field.
Say that again.
This is your etheric field.
Etheric field.
And it is the most powerful.
Yeah.
Yeah. So it is your vibe. So what creates a vibration? Matter plus waves, movement, perpetuation, okay, rhythm. This is rhythm, the law of rhythm, with the law of frequency equals your vibe. So your vibration is like your bubble. It's your reality bubble. And on a biblical term, right, we are the masters of our own bubble. Not each other's bubble, unfortunately. but our own bubble. My screen just like did something.
I know. I always have to face palm my camera when I do that. Wake up, camera. Actually, if you hit stop cam and come
there we go. There we go. So
it was just its mind was blown by what we're talking about.
Exactly. So this is where you have authority. It's the easiest way I can do it. So what do you love that you have authority over? Where are you claiming authority in your own life? Are you claiming authority of your own body? Or does somebody else have authority over your body? Maybe your mom, right? It could be a belief system. Your whole family has authority over your body, right? Your genetics have authority over your body. Like, what has authority over your body? Dr. Joe Dispenza teaches that through the etheric field. This is where he's working, is this field where you actually have authority. Okay. Now, in this field is all of your programming. It's all of that stuff, but it works through, so you can change it through habit, right? You can have good habits. You can get up every day. You can do your work. You can go places. That's a positive. You can change it through thoughts. You can change it through emotions. When they all align and work together, your field changes and you just manifest things, right? You just attract them. And that's where we want to be. I just want to attract the Maldives. And me sitting in a glacier, like not a glacier pool, but one of those like beautiful lagoons, right? On a little thing, sipping a fresh juice
Right.
Right? Like, that sounds great to me. Right? Maybe me attracting. Maybe you want to attract the love of your life, right? Maybe you want to shift and change your relationship and who you're in relationship. Maybe you want that next client. This is where I go. This is where we go to pray. Right? Is in this field. You're praying to manifest that next level of your business. Like, where do you trust yourself here? Where are you authority? Right? And where don't you trust yourself? So this is in the love letter. Now there's one more. There's one more part of you that is even more powerful than your etheric field. When you get your etheric field in line, that's when people have their like spiritual awakening and all that stuff happens, because you're in control of your own bubble, your own domain. When we go through trauma, what happens is this field breaks apart and it either gets stuffed all by itself, like down here, and we get gout and we get sick and stuff, and we become a nobody. And it's really close, like saran wrap, and you feel like you can't move, or it gets blown out and everybody's in charge of your life. So one way is narcissistic personality. The other is borderline. But either way, it's like,
narcissistic,
right?
or
Everybody's opinion matters, right? So that's where I was. Like, everybody's opinion mattered. I needed them to prove to me that I was worthy. I needed them to prove to me that I was this and that, right? And I wanted my business to prove that to me and give me my value, give me my worth, right? And then the other way that it gets is like really closed in, and that's where like you're proving to the world. It's all about you, and the world needs to prove to you, right? Like, I don't know. It's a really light thing, but that's what happens with your etheric field. When it's balanced, though, you have authority over your bubble, and you don't need authority over anybody else's. You want them to have authority over theirs. It's true freedom. It's love. That's love. is that true freedom. But inside of it all is the most powerful little button, and that's your soul. That's the witness. That's the part of you that is just you. And if you got in a car accident and you lost your ability to walk, you lost your legs, you lost a foot, all right, you had an accident, you got like a health issue, right? It doesn't change this part of you still is. If you had a change of mind, when you change your mind, when your beliefs expand, this is still it, witnessing that. When you go through emotionals, ups and downs, like this is that part. So I want your soul today to write a love letter to how much it loves your etheric field and the authority that you have in your life. And how it gets to play in your etheric field. It's the battery pack. You're the battery pack. Okay? And how does your soul, how does the witness that you are love being an authority? Do you let your soul be an authority, or are you making all your hard work the authority, or your opinions of others or their opinions of you the authority, or how you feel the authority, right? Or are you utilizing your soul to be in your own essence and just practice that? This is a great practice of meditation each day, just being without accomplishing anything. And for business people, for me anyway, like that's hard because I love accomplishing, right? It feels so good to accomplish and do good in the world and pass on your love to the world. Like, but what if you were enough anyway? And then how does your soul want to feel? How is your soul utilizing your GPS system? Your emotions are your GPS system, energy and motion, emotion. Right? So that GPS system. How is your soul utilizing your thoughts, or your thoughts utilizing you? Right? How do you love your thoughts? How does your soul love your thoughts? I love my thoughts because I can change them. I love my thoughts because my thoughts have taught me all about the subconscious mind. And now I know that my childhood controlled everything and how I can change it. I don't have to be subject to that car, right? And wanting that out. There's more outs. And by knowing that, my soul, I know that my mindset doesn't want to jump in here. I'll fix that later.
Mindset's like, no, be free.
The bottom of my mind is like, well, you still need to visit me, Lisha. Like, this is a little nuts. But no matter how hard you work, you don't know who's going to get what, right? Like, we can only do so much with our physical bodies and our appearances and everything. Like, it all fades. I keep getting older, and I'm like, what is this? Thank goodness for filters, right? Just joking. but it's like, okay, like this is the body now. This is going to change. This is my body of work. This is what it gets to do. And you never know when it's going to take off. Like, think of Picasso, right? His body wasn't here when he became Picasso.
It's very true. Yeah, right? I love that.
I think neither was Mozart, right? Mozart didn't have
Mozart
eyes.
Was
he didn't
have famous from like 5. But
okay, so was it Mozart? Schubert, maybe Schubert. So one of them. When I was in music school, one of them like didn't.
Yeah, it is
like
very
blind and deaf and like
posthumously famous for sure. I love this. Yeah. Okay, so I had thought at the originally you had said 6 power zones, and I only wrote down 5. So I don't know if I missed one. But I have
the fourth, the soul. I don't teach on the soul. Like,
okay,
it's yours, and so it's just a bonus for that. But no, you take who you are. That who you are is who you are in relationship. So in my programs, when you learn to be a coach or you learn the trauma therapy there, like the next one is like, how are you in relationship? How do you take your tools, right, that your soul has? Because these are tools that your soul has to express. How do you use your tools in your workplace? How do you use your tools? How are you wielding your swords? These are all your swords. Right? Your plow, your hoe, your like all of that. That's kind of interesting that I use that. There's going to be a lot of plowing and hoeing tonight on Valentine's Day, as a sex therapist. Anyway, so there's, right. So these are your tools. I look at them as like, these are my tools. These are my soul's tools that I get to use during this lifetime to do my best in the world, and align and attune to my soul's thing. And what gets twisted is when ego takes over, right? My body, well, it's just like my body. Oh, I have this craving, I have that craving, right? We have addiction. When your mind takes over, you have negative thoughts, or you have compulsions, and you have belief systems, and you have the patriarchy, or you have, I don't know, you just have idealism, right? That hurt people, that control people. When your emotions are in control, we have war, right? We have war. It's complete chaos. If you've ever had a rage fit, or ever been taken over by your emotions, or ever been really mad at your partner, right? It's scary. Like, you're not in control. Like, when the emotions are in control, it's like, right? And then you have that authority where you're enslaved. You're enslaved to your job. You're enslaved to your business. I was enslaved to your own university. I didn't know it, but it had my identity. It had my worth. If it was selling, if it wasn't, like, if the marketing went through, I mean, I spent $20,000, $50,000 on marketing that went nowhere, nowhere. And, you know, I still haven't figured that out. That's your genius, Caitlin. But right, like, it's okay though now, because I'm like, well, I trust the process. I trust the vibe. I'm going to do what I can. And that's what I can do.
Yeah.
Now, and when it's time, it'll be there. And I don't have to be everything for everyone, because I have my wheelhouse. This is my wheelhouse. And that also gives me a reason to hire you, right? Or hire somebody else, and be in that community, and not be everything for my business, because I can't be. Right?
Yeah.
I write programs and systems that literally save lives, and people write me, thank you for saving my life, every day. Right. And I work 24/7 with my private clients and with my students, because I have both. And I love it. Right. So that's my wheelhouse. And I'm going to write a love letter to that. My soul gets to be like, oh, my body is good at this. If I could do a double backflip and go to and my body could do different things like that, or I could be a diver and wasn't terrified of heights, and I could dive off big cliffs. Like, all of that sounds super fun, but it's not in my wheelhouse. My body isn't capable of doing that.
Yeah. Right? So I love this idea of, like, us being these nesting dolls of self, and how can we love our bodies? How can we love our minds? How can we love our emotions? How can we love our etheric field? That's my new favorite. And how do we use that? How do we recognize that at the end of the day, we are the soul, this essential nature, the thing that does not change, no matter what age we are, no matter what season of life we're in, that the thing that is, like, Descartes' cogito ergo sum, like, I think therefore I am, that essential I pronoun is what makes us who we are. And that thing is unfazed by the ups and the downs, the romantic adventures and the romantic breakups, and the successes in business and the failures in business. Like, that is the thing that is always unmoved and unchanging. And that is our divine spark. That is the thing that always reflects the eternal, unchanging nature of the universe. And so I think that's where we can begin with this beautiful experience of, just finding that sense of love. I'm thinking of Dante at the end of his thing. He's talking about the love that moves the stars, and, like, but it is the center of the universe that doesn't move, even when the entire universe is circling around it. So if we can find our own.
You are the center of the universe. And then how are you going to wield your authority in the universe? Like, do you choose to have a relationship with your body or your actions that are like, oh, damn it, I wish I didn't do it that way. Oh, I just screwed up over there. And is that keeping you in check? right?
Mm-hmm.
Oh, I failed this person. I failed that person. Is that keeping you in check? And if so, is there a way that you can shift that so you can see how you served the person, how you served yourself? How can you use your body in a different way? Or are you addicted to the emotion, right? The normalcy of failing. And so you can be great. A lot of people do that. Some of the most successful people do that. They just sit there and beat themselves up all day because that's what their parents did. And they get more and more successful. They make more and more sales. And they're scared, if I let go of that part of me that is mean to me, that's making me sick, that's literally giving me arthritis, it's literally giving me this and that, like, is there something for me? There won't be. I won't be. I want you to know that you will be. You will be. You still are.
Yeah.
So how can you write a love letter to yourself today from your soul, or from this part of you that is witnessing yourself, and be like, you know what, body, like, you really, like, I love my neck. So like, you really just have a great neck. I love your voice. You have a great voice. Yeah. I love how you, I don't know, stretch. I love how you can, you choose you. Like, what do you love about you? What do you love about your thoughts? How are your thoughts working for you? I was going to sleep last night and writing this interview in my head, and I started having this love letter to myself. And I had never done that before. We kind of go through checklists, but I was like, wow, like, I authentically am like, wow, my brain has changed so much.
Yeah.
I really do know how to harness my thoughts and put them where I want them to go finally.
Yeah.
I really do know how to harness my emotions. I remember when my emotions ran me over.
Yeah.
Where I was a basket case. Somebody would leave me, and I had, an anxious attachment style, and I would, like, freak out because my worth was in their love for me. And that's not it. Could it happen again? Absolutely. But when it does, I'll be higher on that ring, right? I'll be up one more, and I'll be able to look at myself. I'll be the observer going, oh, you still really want to be loved by that person. I'll see it as hurt rather than as a fault.
Right. Yeah.
And so having that conversation, then, like, where am I giving my authority? Like, and this week I was like, okay, this is my goal for abundance in my business right now. These are people I want to hire. This is my next level. How is this going to happen? How much would it cost? Right. So I put another goal for my financial goal for my business on the roster. And for me, how I do marketing is, I'm no clue. I'm going to keep showing up every day, doing everything I'm invited to do that feels aligned, and because I keep investing money and it's never worked. So I'm just like, I'm going to keep doing that. Every once in a while, I'll throw some money at it, $1,000 here, $15,000 there, right? And it never comes back yet. So I'm just like, that's not my wheelhouse. I'm going to be okay with that, but I'm going to keep following this because I'll get something from it, right? I'll get something from it. And as I keep doing that, I go, okay, well, it comes. And it's that trust. Where I don't have authority, I'm not going to have authority. I'm not going to try to do that anymore. Where I do have authority in this realm is I can throw it all up and say, I surrender it. And I'm really good at that. And I can trust, well, it's just going to be, and I'm already on track.
Yeah.
Right? Like,
I'm
it's already happening.
One of my favorite book recommendations is The Surrender Experiment by Michael Singer. Like, that book changed my life. It was like,
okay, I'm going to get it.
I can just relax. Like, in Christianity, we talk a lot about faith, but ironically, for most Christians, faith looks a lot like fear.
Yeah. That had to shift for me. That was the self-pity thing, right? That was like, oh, forgive me, Lord, forgive me, Lord, forgive me, Lord. I have to go, thank you, Lord, thank you, Lord, thank you, Lord. I mean, that's what Jesus did with the loaves and the fish and everything. Thank you, Lord.
Yeah. And so Michael Singer is like this kind of atheistic Buddhist who just surrenders to what he calls life and the universe. And it shows this pattern of it unfolding in perfect, like, surrender resulting in perfection. And it gave me a glimpse of like what's possible. And it's so interesting that it was a man who showed me what it would look like to live in my yin feminine energy. But I think we are all feminine in relationship to the divine. Like we are the ones who are here to receive, to be the surrendered ones, to be the passive, accepting whatever it is. Like we say, your will be done, but we think of that as like a very exact thing, and we get a little anxious. Like, well, at least as a kid, I did. I was like, well, I need to figure out God's will for my life, because if I
figure it out, right?
Tiny thing, I'm going to be an epic failure and I'm going to go to hell, right? Instead of just saying like, all of this is our will, right? Like together, God and I are co-creating this particular lifetime together. And he wants everything I want, like love, abundance, joy, health. Like this is his divine blueprint, her divine blueprint, the divine blueprint, right? And the more we can surrender our ideas of, this is my plan, I'm going to do A, and then I'm going to do B, and then I'm going to do C, and that's going to get me to D. It's more like, I don't know what it's going to look like, but this is how I want to feel throughout that journey. Like I want to feel at peace. I want to feel gratitude. I want to feel like I am loved and I am loving in every situation. And whatever is happening, I can maintain that inner keel of stability. And that's become my goal, right? I still have goals. I still work hard. This week in particular is like a panic attack inducing level of double bookings and 12-hour days, right? Like, but it's my job in
life of an entrepreneur,
right? My job in the middle of this is to maintain that equilibrium, is saying, okay, I'm going to show up as best I can. I'm going to take care of myself as best I can. I'm going to recognize when I'm moving into a state of suffering. I'm going to use my ecstatic framework to start telling different stories, to bring myself back into alignment. And then we're just going to keep putting one foot in front of the other. And so, and then next week I get vacation. So it's easy. That'll be fun. I'll get to rest a little bit. But yeah, I think that idea of writing a love letter to each element of your soul, your body, your etheric field, your emotions, your mind, like all of these different pieces of you, and starting to see how deeply worthy of love you are, I think is beautiful. And I love that so much. Dr. Lisha, I'm going to put your website up so that if people want to find you, LishaAntiqua.com, and they can go and find resources and your blog. And I know you had mentioned your own university, and you're doing a summit coming up. Tell me about that. What are you working on these days?
So Your Own University is a school for self-discovery. Okay. And we also do certifications. So it's not a university. It's called Your Own University because it's self-study. And so you're going to your own university.
To learn about yourself.
To learn about yourself, right? Yep. But we also train people to help people learn about themselves. And part of that community, I'm putting together a summit for advocates and therapists and coaches and healers to learn from other people that have put together their own businesses, their own books, and their own stuff, to just take their business to the next level, to take their mission to the next level, to take their calling to the next level. And it will be, of course, talking about Your Own University and the Amazing You method of self-discovery and the identity code. But really, this summit is just a free event that I'm doing March 16th and 17th with 13 incredible speakers that I respect, that have come into their business, that are making changes, that are doing things differently, that are working holistically, that are making great money, and doing it in their own way, to share how their life experiences brought them into business and how they've created success and some of the potholes along the way. Because just like this show, like when we can see each other and each other, that's where we learn. And so if you want to come to the event, want the replays of the event, it's absolutely free. It's yourownuniversity.com, respond.
Entreport. It's a wonky one, but yourownuniversity.respond.entreport.net/HTCC. So go ahead and join us there. And Dr. Lisha, I really appreciate you and all of the work that you are doing in the world to clear out trauma, to bring people healing, to restore integrity, true whole integrity back to our individual souls. And yeah, if you want to go find out more, go to lishaantiqua.com. All right, guys, have a great day. Sending you all lots of love wherever you are, and we'll see you next week.